What's up guys, my name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you my deck profile for my Dracotail Shaddoll deck. This deck has been a lot of fun. It reminds me a lot of the days of when I was first playing Thunder Dragon, just the capability of fusing and interacting with my opponent greatly. This deck is so much fun to play, has the capability of fusing on your opponent's turn through whether it be an onboard quick effect or an in-hand quick effect, while also being able to run a lot of hand traps to further interact with your opponent. Helps out a lot. For this deck, I'm going to go through and explain each of the parts and why I'm playing them, just so I can further explain a little bit more onto that. So, let's go ahead and hop right on into the main deck. I'm playing 3 Dracotail Famina. Of course, the main part of the deck is Dracotail. The reason why I'm deciding to run Shaddoll is so I have more capability for setting up locks and interact with special summon monsters. Dracotail Famina has the fun effect of, during the main phase, quick effect, so even during your opponent's main phase, you can discard this card, fusion summon one dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dracotail spell or trap from your deck. You can only use each effect of Dracotail Famina once per turn, which is great. Because if she is used for a actual fusion summon during your opponent's turn, it can help you out a lot by setting one of those spells or traps that you need for either next turn or for this turn to set up for either for other search ability or interaction during your opponent's turn. Next, we have 3 Dracotail Malulu. For some reason, I was calling this Dracotail Mimsy. Don't ask me as to why, but I find that a better name. But I still love this card's design either way. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon one Dracotail fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field. Also, you cannot special summon this card from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. You cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except fusion monsters. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for fusion summon, you can set one Dracotail spell or trap from your deck. Then you can negate negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls. So, outside of it being a real great way of getting a spell and trap, you also then get to negate a face-up monster on the board, which can help out if you're going second. Next, Dracotail Lucius. This is our main searcher of the deck, because if it's normal or special summon, you can add one Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand, except Lucius. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dracotail spell or trap card from your deck, which can definitely further help extend, but basically it's a 2-for-1 in this case, because if it's used for a fusion, you basically get to set a spell or trap. If it's normal summon, you get to add one of the Dracotail monsters. For the other 2 monsters I'm playing in Dracotail, it's one Pawn and one Urgula. These cards are really great as well. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dracotail spell or trap from your deck, then destroy one monster on the field. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can place this card on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, destroy special summon one non-fusion Dracotail monster from your graveyard. Urgula has a similar effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard for the material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dracotail spell or trap from your deck, then you can destroy one spell or trap on the field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one spellcaster Dracotail monster in your graveyard, place this card on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, add that monster to your hand. You can only use each effect of Dracotail Urgula once per turn. Basically, Pawn is a great way of getting a fusion back on the board, or non-fusion Dracotail back on the board, such as Mulu, to allow you to fusion summon. But Urgula has the capability of letting you draw one instead. Well, not draw one, but add that monster to your hand, which can help out a lot. So that will allow you to get Famina to hand or Lucius for recovery, or Pawn will let you get Mulu back to the board to further your fusion summoning. Alright, so that's all for the Dracotail cards that I have currently. What about the Shaddoll core? Well, for the Shaddoll core, I'm playing 2 Hedgehog, 2 Beast, 1 Dragon, 1 Genius, and 1 Squamata. Squamata is basically a Foolish if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect. Genius, if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, it can allow you to target one effect monster on the field. Neither player can activate that target's effects for the rest of his turn, so it can help out a lot. That Shaddoll Beast is a draw 1, but if it's a flip, you draw 2, discard 1. Dragon, if it's a flip, you target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand, but if it is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one spell or trap on the field and destroy it. Hedgehog is if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add one Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand, but you can add one spell or trap from your deck to your hand if it's flipped. So, specifically a Shaddoll spell or trap, might I add. So this basically gets you your Shaddoll fusion or a Shaddoll monster that you need to further your fusion summoning. This gets you a free draw 1 or draw 2 in retrospect, spell or trap pop or bounce. Squamata is a fusion, or if it's a flip, you can target one monster opponent control, one monster on the field and destroy it. It's not even an opponent's monster. And then Genius has the flip effect, which we don't really utilize a lot, but you can target one Shaddoll monster you control that face-up monsters unaffected by monster effects except its own. So, outside of that, we're basically using all these for their secondary effects because they allow you to further play into other aspects to get you more materials to continue your plays. Alright, so that's all I have for the actual Shaddolls. Now, for the actual fusion support cards, I'm playing 3 Blazing Cartesia, the Virtuous. Yes, I'm not playing the Fallen Albaz, but it does have the effect during the main phase quick effect. You can fusion summon one level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. During the end phase, if a fusion summon monster was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So, this basically turns on any of your fusions in the extra deck if you have the capability of making them. Next, I play 3 King of the Swamp because this allows us to go into certain plays, such as going into Tyrant Dragon or Dragoon, which can help us continue our plays, but it's also a poly searcher if you decide to sign in or out the poly. It also replaces a named target on a fusion for a fusion requirement. Outside of that, I do play 2 Bestials. I play Bestial Magnuma and Bestial Druid Swarm, because Druid Swarm's good for Ascend. Magnuma is just good to get you any of your Dracotail dragons, or any of the other dragons that you need to utilize, while also being a light or dark target banish. Well, what about hand traps? For hand traps, I'm running 3 Milcharmy Fualos and 3 Ash Blossom the Joyous Spring. These cards are very helpful in the meta because this can shut down a Dracotail Mirror, and this can also help in the Vanquish Soul matchup, which can basically get you further draws, especially if you're going against Yummy as well. Alright, now on to the spells. For the spells, I'm playing 3 Ketu Dracotail. This is basically the Rhoda of the deck, where you can add 1 Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand, and then if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon 1 dragon or spellcaster monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. So this does help out a lot. The only problem is it's an Ash target, and if it gets ashed, you can't utilize the second effect either. The next one is basically the branded fusion of the deck, which is Rahu Dracotail. Fusion summon 1 Dracotail monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, or field. Also, for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. You can only activate 1 Rahu Dracotail once per turn. That's perfectly fine, but it can get stopped by Ash. Next, as the final fusion, I do play 2 Shaddoll Fusion. I do not have a third. That's the only reason why I'm not playing 3. Shaddoll Fusion is great because you can fusion summon 1 Shaddoll Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. If your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use monsters from the deck as fusion material. So outside of all these cards basically accomplishing the same thing as in fusioning or fusion summoning, it is still very fun to use. Next, I do play 2 traps, 1 Dracotail Horn, 1 Dracotail Flame. Horn, you can target 1 attack position monster on the field, return it to the hand, or extra deck. Then you can place 1 Dracotail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of the deck, except Dracotail Horn, and draw 1 card. Dracotail Flame has the fun effect of Dracotail, you can target 1 face-up spell on the field, negate its effects until the end of that turn. Then place 1 Dracotail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of the deck, and then draw 1 card. The only side effect of this is if they are ashed, you cannot use, their effects are basically negated. Not the negate effect, but the replacement effect. But it's sad that it does make them Ash targets. All right, so that's all I have for the actual main deck for Dracotail. What about the actual extra deck? For the extra deck, I'm playing 3 Dracotail Arthalion. Dracotail Arthalion is a really great card because it allows you to bounce cards. It is targeted. That is the only problem. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target monsters on the field and or graveyards up to the number of monsters used as material from the hand. Return them to the hand. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. That's the only problem I have with it, is that it's a targeted bounce, not a just, okay, bounce 1 to 2, 3 cards. The next one is Dracotail Golemel. When you activate a Dracotail card or effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. If 2 or more cards are sent to the graveyard at the same time, while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Dracotail Golemel once per turn. So basically, this is just an interactable pop. It is a hard once per turn pop, but it still is fun to utilize because it's on a 2800 body. As for the actual Shaddoll portion of the deck, we'll go ahead and take a look. And we're playing not just 1 Winda, but 2 El Shaddoll Windas. This deck has a lot of capability of just making this right off bat, because Mulu is a dark target. So if you have Fimina plus Mulu or 2 Shaddolls in hand, you discard Fimina during your opponent's turn, you can instantly make a El Shaddoll Winda. Must first be fusion summoned, cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. Each player can only special summon monsters once per turn while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Shaddoll spell or trap in your graveyard and add to your hand, which helps out a lot. El Shaddoll Shekanaga. This card is really great because even though it does require a Shaddoll monster and an Earth monster, which is your Lucius, during either player's turn, when a special summon monster activates effect while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that monster. Then send 1 Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. So, while turning a dead Shaddoll that's in your hand into a potential negate or way to interact, then being able to proc that Shaddoll card's effect, it does help out a lot. You can use the effect of El Shaddoll Shekanaga once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target 1 Shaddoll spell or trap in your graveyard and add to your hand. Once again, just very helpful for interactability. Next is the 1 El Shaddoll Construct. This requires 1 Shaddoll monster and 1 light monster. So basically your Cartesia and a Shaddoll monster basically opens this up. It must first be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, destroy that monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Shaddoll spell or trap in your graveyard, add to your hand. Basically a great way to get over something that you can't really fight over, but you've forced it into a corner. Next, I play 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon because King of the Swamp functions as Dark Magician, and then all you need is a dragon monster, which you can use as Mulu or, really, Arthalion if you need to. Next, I have 1 Secretarian Dragon. It requires 1 dragon monster plus a spellcaster monster. This card loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. While you control this fusion summon card, your opponent cannot activate the effects of special summon dragon or spellcaster monsters they control. You can target 1 dragon and 1 spellcaster monster in the graveyard, special summon 1, and if you do, place the other on the bottom of the deck. So the only problem is with this, you have to have a target to actually utilize with this, because it specifically says deck, so it would have to come in from your main deck. If you go into your extra deck, it cannot activate if you target 2 monsters from the extra deck. But if you target, say, Fimina as a spellcaster, and then you target Arthalion as the dragon, you can summon Arthalion and place Fimina back on the bottom. Next, I do play the 1 Millennium Eyes Restrict. It's great because once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, target one effect monster opponent controls or in their graveyard. Equip that target to this card you control. This card gains attack in defense equal to that equipped monsters. Monsters with the equipped monster's name cannot attack. Also, their effects on the field and their activated effects are negated. Just a great way to get through troublesome boards if you need to. Also a great way to get around hand traps as well. Next, we have the 1 Spirit with the Eyes of Blue. This turns any level 4 dragon or spellcaster if we are basically debarriered. So it turns any of our spellcasters or dragons into this, to where we can go next into Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, which we can utilize to bounce and then summon a Mulu from our deck, just for a quick effect fusion. Overall, guys, that's all I have for the Shaddoll Dracotail deck. This deck has a lot of good fusion targets, has a lot of capability. You can mix it with a lot of different decks to really utilize the power of Dracotail, and it's really great overall. If you guys did enjoy this deck profile, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it, and I do try to read everybody's comments as they come in. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?